feel like we can compete with anybody.
Playing in front of 107,000 people as a true freshman, a lot of things are going through your head.
Defense played lights out.
Not gonna lie, it was an out-of-body experience. Texas A&M is the hardest place to play in the country, so things like that are just major confidence boosters for the whole entire team.
1 down, 11 to go. After a huge win on the road to open the season.
No place like home, that's what they say, right?
Today, the Irish welcomes Northern Illinois to the house that Rockne built.
Every game we go into, we know we're going to fight our tail off to win.
The Huskies are a big underdog. Touchdown! But don't expect them to just roll over.
They got our full attention.
We're going to come playing fast and hard.
This is ABC57 Kickoff, presented by Afdent Dental, live from the campus of Notre Dame, with your hosts, Allison Hayes and Vahid Sadrazadeh.
There's no place like home. Football is back on the campus of Notre Dame. These are the days we look forward to all year. We're just a few hours from the 2024 home opener between Notre Dame and Northern Illinois, their first ever meeting. Welcome to ABC 57 Kickoff. I'm Allison Hayes.
I'm Vahid Sadrazadeh. Welcome to another exciting season. Notre Dame fans right where they want to be, at home, 1-0, and maybe a special season on the horizon. A lot of Notre Dame fans arriving early today, Allison, because of that excitement.
Cars were lined up down Angela Boulevard since before 7 a.m. There were people physically standing out in their parking spot this morning before the sun was even up just to hold their spot for tailgating. Tailgate season is back.
It is, and we went from 100 degrees to 40 degrees in just 1 week's time, but we are excited. It's football weather. Notre Dame is back home.
That's right. The Irish are riding high after their win on the road at Texas A&M. The final score, 23-13. It wasn't always pretty, a back and forth battle most of the night until the Irish pulled away at the end. Quarterback Riley Leonard, of course, facing off against his former coach Mike Elko in his Notre Dame debut.
Leonard, some stats, went 18 of 30, 158 passing yards, although he did not attempt to pass longer than 20 yards.
Woo.
He also added 63 on the ground, showing, in fact, that he is one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks in the nation.
Now, the Irish do have some penalties to clean up. They got flagged 11 times against the Aggies. 6 of those were against the Irish offense.
And now, some Irish fans are fearing Notre Dame may let off that gas pedal just a little bit today. You don't think so? I don't think so, against an unranked NIU opponent, but the Irish made it clear that will not be the case. Our Levon Whitaker talked with players and coaches all week long. He joins us live right now outside Notre Dame Stadium. Hey, Levon.
Hey, Allison and Vahid. Yeah, I talked to the players on Tuesday evening during the press conference. I asked these guys, hey, how are you feeling coming into this game against Northern Illinois, a team that is not nearly the same level as a threat as Texas A&M? They weren't very demure at all. They were confident. They were adamant about coming into this matchup with the same intensity that got them the win over Texas A&M at Kyle Field.
Of all places to debut your new offense.
That's an environment that I'm sure none of us have really ever played in before.
Notre Dame had to do it in front of the 12th man.
Playing in front of 107,000 people as a true freshman, a lot of things are going through your head.
The Irish played against the Texas A&M crowd and 11 defenders.
I remember looking up and trying to see the end of the stands, and you literally just can't even see the top.
In his first start under center, Riley Leonard and the Irish offense got off to a slow start, but they stuck to the game plan.
Good run games against good defenses kind of entail how the game kind of unfolded, right? It's not very pretty in the beginning.
And when it mattered, Jadarian Price broke off a 47-yard run, giving Notre Dame a 13-6 lead.
Once in a while, you'll hit one kind of midway through the second and third quarter.
In the second half, the offense started to click.
Our offense, I thought it was unbelievable in the second half, just, because we had a chance to kind of regroup after they tied it up at 13.
And with the game in his hands, Leonard found his stride.
He's a competitor and wants the ball in his hands, and I got a lot of confidence in a guy like Riley Leonard at the end of the game. Put the ball in his hands, he'll make good decisions and lead this offense to victory.
Everybody had all the confidence in the world that we were going to be able to go down there and score. It was just a matter of when. And, finally, by the fourth quarter, we kind of got things going.
The start of an 85-yard drive began with Leonard picking up 9 of his 63 rushing yards.
That's obviously one of my strengths.
So was finding Jaden Greathouse on a critical 3rd and 5 in their own territory. But nothing beats the 20-yard completion to Bo Collins.
You just got to throw the ball up to the dude. And I was trying to be too cute and throw a back shoulder earlier, and by the end of that last drive, I was like, shoot, I'm just gonna throw the ball up and let him make a play.
Just crazy. I worked on that in practice pretty much all fall camp, just 50-50 balls. Not gonna lie, it was an out-of-body experience when I got up, man. I was just overly excited.
Leonard would continue to use his legs to put his offense in good position.
I play the game, the way I play the game. I won't change that for anybody or anything, or any injury. It can't stand in my way.
And the Notre Dame running backs, the same position group that scored the first touchdown, will put a stamp on things. As Jeremiah Love capped off the 8-play drive, squeezing through the Aggies defensive line and putting the Irish on top 20-13.
To see Riley and the O-line and the running backs do what they did, and the wide receivers blocking, and then Bo making a big play, that's what it takes to go into an environment like that.
You have to make decisions as a head coach in that moment. Do you want to tell Jay Love in the huddle, hey, go down if you break? We're just trying to get a first down and stay in field goal range, right? And I didn't want to put that on his brain and go score, and I have a belief in our defense that we'll be able to stop him.
Well, if you were watching that game last Saturday, you know that the defense got the stop that Marcus Freeman just alluded to, that he had confidence in, and then Mitch Jeter, the kicker, that scored the first points of the game, sealed the win for Notre Dame with a field goal, giving them a 10-point lead over Texas A&M. Yes, go Irish, and allowing this Irish football team to come back here week 2 with the win over the Aggies.
Well, Levon, I think that wide receiving room was very, very impressive. A lot of Notre Dame fans were worried how those receivers were going to come out. But he was able to trust those receivers in the moments that mattered last week of that receiving core this week.
Well, you said the key name right there, Bo Collins. He's the veteran in this receiving room. He and Chris Mitchell. Now, we only seen Chris Mitchell get one catch, but I asked Bo, I said, how much of a veteran are you to the younger guys, Jaden Greathouse, Jordan Faison? He says, I'm the example. I thrive in that role, and I love being that guy for this team. I think that's going to allow them to go very far. But he comes from an offense in Clemson under Dabo Swinney that threw the ball deep downfield. He's the guy, and Mike Denbrock relies on Bo Collins and the rest of those young receivers.
All right, thank you so much, Levon. We'll check in with you again here shortly. The Notre Dame defense definitely won the night, living up to all the preseason hype. The Irish held the Aggies to only 246 total yards and 1 touchdown. And maybe even more impressive, Notre Dame, Allison did not allow a single play of more than 20 yards. Xavier Watts, yes, he picked up where he was last season, intercepting his 8th pass in the last 11 games. Adon Schuler also adding an interception.
It's just great to see all my boys playing fast, playing hard. Coach Freeman really talked to us before the game, and he really got us all hyped up, so we were all ready to go.
The guys on the back end did a great job. We had a great marriage of rush and coverage. Everybody was on the same page. We made a couple more plays than them. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day, just a couple more plays.
At the end of the day, we're Notre Dame, and, we feel like we can compete with anybody.
Well, I tell you, I love to see Christian Gray get that game saver there at the end to finish it off. He's someone to be keeping an eye on all season. Also, those 246 yards of offense allowed by the Irish at Texas A&M, that's the fewest in a road game against a ranked team since 2003. I
was talking to some fans about the defense specifically. In your eyes, do you think this defense is elite?
Oh, no doubt about it. And if you go through the schedule and look at the matchups all the way down the rest of the way, where on there can you possibly say that Notre Dame's defense doesn't have the upper hand in all of those? They face their toughest defense of the season against Texas A&M. They'll have a tough one, as we'll see as it continues to get better and better, if USC will be that next big tough defense that they face at the end of the season. But right now, Notre Dame, I think, has the upper hand all across the board.
No weaknesses. Northern Illinois, of course, hoping to play spoiler today.
That's right. The Huskies return 18 starters, 9 on offense and 9 on defense. NIU destroyed Western Illinois at home last week, 54-15. The Huskies put up 394 passing yards and 312 yards rushing against the Leathernecks. That's an FCS team, though, so basically just a tune-up game. Safe to say Notre Dame will give the Huskies a bit more of a fight today.
Well, we don't really know what to expect from this NIU team, and that's what's really so difficult about this matchup. A team they've never faced before, a team they don't know much about. Marcus Freeman said earlier this week, that's what you do in the offseason. You get ready for every team. You try to watch film on every team. We'll see. We don't really know a lot about them.
We will have the NIU radio play-by-play guy here with us in just a little bit. He'll help break down the Huskies. But you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss any of our show today. Stick around because we're just getting started here on ABC57 Kickoff. Here's a sneak peek at what's to come.
We've only just begun.
We're ready to perform at the highest level possible.
One-on-one with Marcus Freeman. What the Irish need to do to beat the top teams. Imagine seeing your first Notre Dame football game at nearly 90 years old. Today marks a wish come true for one diehard fan. The Irish legends are out in full force. One of the greatest defensive players in Notre Dame history, Manti Te'o, is back on campus.
This is always home. Home always treated me well. Home always, greeted me with love.
And he's stopping by ABC57 Kickoff for the first time. Plus,
here's the snap on 4th and 2. Throws, and it's broken up! What a play! Christian Gray in coverage!
He's the new voice of Notre Dame football, Tony Simeone. And his partner, Irish legend and Super Bowl champ, Ryan Harris, join us live to break down today's matchup.
Every time I hear the national anthem on game day, I look around in the stands, I'm like, there's a lot of people here, and I just think, wow.
But next, we talk one-on-one with former Notre Dame defensive tackle Kurt Hinish as he lives out his dream in the NFL.
Just want to play our best football, right? Don't let the moment be too big. Don't let the environment be too big. Don't let the opponent be too big, right? They put their pants on just like we put our pants on. Like I tell the players all the time, I don't need you to be Superman, I just need you to be your best.
Well, the Irish trying to cook up a good one today at Notre Dame Stadium. Avoid a hangover against Northern Illinois. You just heard from the Huskies head coach, Thomas Hammock. It's a 3:30 kickoff inside Notre Dame Stadium, the first ever meeting between the Irish and the Huskies. But Notre Dame is a perfect 10-0, mind you, against Mid-American conferences. And yes, we are barbecuing.
Patrick Michael Mulligan in the background there at his tailgate, of course, of Mulligan's fame. We haven't seen him in a long time. Welcome back, Pat. Good to see you. Welcome back to ABC 57 as well. In our new location here, we are right outside of the Purcell Pavilion, Gate 11, with the Notre Dame Stadium right there. We got the ND Lorian hanging out with us today, and it was a star-studded sideline last week at Texas A&M.
Yes, indeed. We saw Ryan Poles, the Bears general manager. He's right there in the blue shirt. Reese Davis, you took a selfie with him from College Game Day. There's Nate Shane Gillis, the comedian inside the locker room. Senator Ted Cruz was on hand, and of course, Tim Brown, the Irish legend, and Maris Leafau, all on hand at Texas A&M. Former Irish defensive tackle Kurt Hinish was also there. There he is being spotted with his little brother Donovan at the end of the game, who plays the same position for Notre Dame. Big brother, a stud for the Irish from 2017 to 2021, and the Houston Texans picked Kurt up as an undrafted free agent in 2022.
That's right, and Kurt is now living out his dream in the NFL. He worked his way into a starting role at defensive tackle his rookie year. That's after being an undrafted free agent, by the way. And in his first 2 seasons, Hinish has 36 total tackles with 1.5 sacks and a pass deflection. And last year, the Texans won the AFC South.
I tell everybody that this is an effort-based business, and the effort you put in is what you'll get out of it. And my thought process and philosophy was the day I entered into the building is I won't be denied. So that's kind of just my thought process, and kind of how I go about my day-to-day life and, how I operate. So I feel like if you go in there with that mindset and you're confident in your abilities to do something, then you can achieve a lot.
Is that sort of maybe the advice that you would give to other guys that are hoping to make it into the league?
If you're undrafted, I would say, don't get flustered with you being undrafted as long as you get your foot in the door and you're confident enough in your ability to show up to work every day and put your best foot forward and all of that. I think, like I said, it's one of those things you got to believe in yourself and you got to put yourself in the right positions to, achieve what you want to achieve.
Can you kind of put it into words, when you first maybe ran out of that tunnel, ran out onto the field and actually got to line up and the game starting and you what was that moment like for you? Was there a moment in any of those games where you were just like, oh my gosh, wow, this is incredible?
Yeah, I would definitely say that every time I hear the national anthem on game day, I look around in the stands, I'm like, there's a lot of people here and I just think, wow, I'm really living my dream. Like I'm really doing what most little kids dream of doing, what I dreamed of doing, what most people ever dreamed of doing, you know what I'm saying? And I'm able to do this. So I don't ever take that moment for granted.
I love that. I feel that every time I'm out at a game just covering it, when the national anthem comes on, I'm like goosebumps, like teary-eyed. It's just such a special feeling.
Just kind of brings everything into the moment. It's kind of you have a moment to collect yourself and really just be in the moment.
And how about now in the NFL? Have you gotten a crazy hit or a great tackle or something where you were like, man, I laid that guy out?
Yeah, in the moment, you kind of don't really think of that, but it's usually in hindsight. Like for me last year when I sacked Joe Flacco during the playoffs, it was like after the game, it was like my friends were not blowing my phone, but sending me videos making fun of me because I did hit the gritty after I sacked him, and it was kind of cool. It was like I watched this guy in the Super Bowl growing up, and I just sacked him.
Well, Hinish tells me his favorite Notre Dame memory was the double overtime win over number 1 ranked Clemson back in 2020. Vahid, you were at that game. It was amazing.
It was, and what a game to experience. And Hinish's status now, what is it? Texans, we just talked about it, really, really good team.
Yeah, so a little bit disappointing for him during fall training camp. He strained his calf, and he's been placed on the short-term injury list, but he says he is feeling better every day, and he'll be back in action as soon as he is cleared by the team docs, and he's got his spot there with that team.
That's awesome. Glad you were able to catch up with him. Well, it may be a little chilly this morning here on the campus of Notre Dame, but the tailgates are in full swing, and how about adding a little sparkle to your party? That's right, we check in with a little pregame action and a check of your game day forecast. Stay with us here on ABC57 Kickoff.
A beautiful view high atop the Golden Dome, the Earth Camp. And the Irish are ready, hot off their season opening win at Texas A&M. But the temperatures today in South Bend, not so hot. In fact, it's going to be one of the coldest home openers in nearly 30 years. The Irish hosting Northern Illinois in the house that Rockney built. Welcome back to ABC 57 Kickoff. A little chilly, but I think it's going to warm up. That sun is out. It is beautiful. It is fall football weather in South Bend.
And I love being in our new spot here at Gate 11. So if you're making your way to campus, just getting going today,
come say hi.
Come say hi. So what can we expect come game time? What would you want to wear coming out to Notre Dame Stadium? Let's check in with meteorologist Dave Caulfield, who's live in the tailgate lots. Hey, Dave.
Hey, Vahid and Allison. Yeah, seen a lot more chilly out here than in years past on the home opener because we're looking at temperatures well below normal for this time of year. And when the sun's out, it actually feels quite nice. But when those clouds go over the sun, you're probably going to need the gloves, maybe even the hat early this morning with tailgating. So let's take a look at the forecast over the next few hours. Temperatures in the 50s, and there is a little bit of a wind chill out there. The wind not too bad right now, but we're looking at temperatures in the 50s, and Feels like temperature is a few degrees lower than what the thermometer might suggest. But as we head into this afternoon, highs technically in the low 60s, maybe the mid 60s if we're lucky, if we get enough sunshine. But that still could make this the coldest home opener in nearly 30 years. 1996, the Purdue game was a cold one with highs in the 50s for that game. So it could be worse. But last year for the home opener against Tennessee State, that game was in the mid to upper 80s, so much cooler this time around. Feels more like a midseason game than the season opener. Hopefully the Irish will be in mid-season form as they take on NIU later on today. Live at the tailgate lots, meteorologist Dave Caulfield for ABC57 Kickoff.
You guys.
All right, thanks so much, Dave. Beautiful tailgate conditions out here. The sun is shining and the tailgates are hopping. It's time for the drinks to start flowing as well. And we're joined now by Jen Wozniak and Nicole Brown from Round Barn and Tabor Hill. Guys, thanks so much for being here. You know how to get the party started.
Oh, absolutely. Yep, we've been drinking since we got here.
Awesome.
Well, you're in the right business. I think
Yeah,
you're in the right line of work. So I got my special tailgate mitten right here.
What is that?
Oh, I should
It
have
is
grabbed mine.
perfect for a drink. And look at this. We got the peach sangria.
Yep.
And it fits right in. I'm ready to go. Tell us some of the treats and beverages you brought for us today.
So we're going to go ahead and kick it off. It's pretty cold out here today, and we are not used to this. I mean, it was almost 90 the other day, and here we are freezing this morning.
Beanies, sweaters.
You know it. So we're going to start off with our warm drinks. So what we have set up here to show everybody this morning is the perfect tailgate products lineup. So we're going to start with our farm market cranberry from Round Barn Winery with our mulled spices. So go ahead, bring your crock pot out to the tailgate, pop open that bottle, pour it in, put the mulling spice in, and you got yourself a nice warm drink.
Cinnamon, I'm guessing.
I bet it smells amazing.
It does. Yeah, and so then the next one up is our newest release from our cream series. French vanilla. It's absolutely amazing. And my favorite thing to do with my family tailgating is especially for early games, we put that in our coffee.
Nice.
And it's a perfect way to get the day
Could
started.
have used that this morning when
yeah,
I was
absolutely.
drinking coffee.
on set right now.
Absolutely. And what else do you have over here in front? These are some of your new cocktails, is that right up front?
So I'm going to go ahead and kick this off with Round Barn Distillery's newest product. We are so excited about this. If you're looking for something to just grab, go, pop, and open, go ahead and grab yourself some ready-to-drink canned cocktails. They're now available at all Round Barn locations and also select retailers here in Northwest Indiana.
That's become so popular. And it's convenient. You want it in a can. Did that play into the decision at all in creating these, like, for an event like this, a tailgate?
Absolutely. So it's tailgates, it's boating season, it's camping, it's all of that.
So what is your favorite here? Like, you got the margarita, the gimlet. What else do you have here?
Our fan favorite right now is actually going to be the lemon elderflower vodka soda.
Well, shall we break it open?
Break it open. Let's do it.
The great thing about these two is there's no added sugar. It's all natural fruit juices. They're very low calorie. They're all at least 100 calories or less. And they are just absolutely phenomenal.
That was literally
very
going to be my
refreshing.
question. I'm a vodka soda girl. I like a little flavor, but not too sweet.
Yep.
So what's maybe perfect for someone like me who doesn't want to be too sweet?
This
one?
Yep,
so this is,
and this is also made with Round Barn's flagship spirit, Divine Vodka. It was the first one that we distilled at our property, and it is a fan favorite. It's actually distilled from our grapes.
Yep. Oh, I love that.
So
and it's a beautiful location. Go Irish.
You guys, thanks so much for coming on the show with us today. And where can people find the products? And, of course, where can they find these on location?
Yep, so all of our products are available right now at all Round Barn locations in Baroda and Union Pier, Michigan, and they can also be found at your local retailer, so Myers, Martin's, and then your little mom and pop shops as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this is my way to start off the day. I'm double fisting right now. I'm feeling good.
I need one of these. Those are awesome. Hey, thanks so much for being here. Go Irish. And, of course, where should you put your money on today's game? We'll find out with Inside the Lines when we come back. Go Irish. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Expecting to hear great job and big win, and it was, hey, I just want to remind you, he said the greatest danger is the illusion that all is well when indeed all isn't well. It was a big win for our program, versus a good opponent, but we have so much work to really improve on, and that's kind of the focus now.
The Irish are a 29-point favorite today over the Huskies. But where should you put your money? The most important question of the day. We go inside the lines right now with our Lee Von Whitaker. And after 138 years, Lee Von, there aren't a lot of firsts in Notre Dame football, but today for the first time, the Irish will take on the Huskies of Northern Illinois, a 3:30 kickoff inside Notre Dame Stadium.
Yeah, that's right. And it's time to place your bets. We got Levon here for a reason. He's our money guy right here. We're just a few hours from kickoff from the opener, and let's do this. We want to hear from you, Levon. You had a pretty successful week, I'd say, for week one.
Yeah, I don't like to brag, but I did, give me my money. That was the theme after week one. Listen, it's the first home game of the season. And with all of the unknowns going on coming into this matchup against Northern Illinois, after College Station, the under first half hit 23.5 points, and then we had the first drive result for Notre Dame was the field goal by Mitch Jeter. So I'm a huge fan of Mitch Jeter after week one. I might get his name tattooed on me or something crazy like that. But listen, when it comes to this week, Notre Dame is playing a MAC conference team. Notre Dame is favored by 29 points. That's a lot. That's a huge spread. And the over is 44.5, and we won't even look into the money line. Everybody would probably take Notre Dame by 1 million. So no voting polls from the fans this week because everyone would actually take Notre Dame. Instead, I talked with a guy named Tim Murray from VCN, the Vegas Sports and Information Network. Let's see what he has to say.
I love the under in Notre Dame, Texas A&M. I felt like those two defenses were going to be the best things on the field, and I thought Notre Dame would play it a little bit close to the best. So I'm feeling all right, 1-0 at least on Notre Dame bets. If I had to get to the window this week, it probably would be to look at Northern Illinois in the first half. Look, Notre Dame's a superior team, but this is going to be the Super Bowl for Northern Illinois. First time they've ever been to South Bend as a program, an opportunity to play on national television. I heard a stat, I believe from Matt Fortuna, who covers Notre Dame, saying this is the first time ever that Northern Illinois, will be on network television. So what a big opportunity. This team's going to be fired up, a team that, albeit against a very, very weak FCS opponent in Western Illinois, was able to put up 700-plus yards of offense. So you do wonder, is the intensity there out of the gates there for the Irish? So, the bet that I would potentially look at here would be Northern Illinois in the first half plus 17.
Okay, that's an interesting take. I don't mind it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. And I just say that because in a game like this, if you're going to bet, you have to think outside the box. And that's what I like to do, okay? It becomes riskier when you think outside the box, when you have two teams who are very different in terms of talent. The talent level is not the same at all, especially after seeing Notre Dame against Texas A&M in week one. With that being the case, I think Notre Dame scores a ton of points today, and they get to do it at a fast pace because Mike Denbrock, the offensive coordinator, he wants to take the top off the defense. This is your chance to get Chris Mitchell, Bo Collins down the field, and then we also see KK Mitchell out there on the field for the Irish today. And so listen, what I saw in practice with these guys is they want to move. So I'm bringing Levon's parlay for the first game, home game of the season. And in this matchup, guys, I like a few things, okay? I said risky. First, third, and fourth quarter, over 9.5 points. You ask, what does that mean? That means that Notre Dame and Northern Illinois can all score over 9.5, at least 10 points in each of those quarters. You ask why I didn't take the second quarter? Line was at 13.5. That's a little too deep, a little different than the other three quarters. I also like Notre Dame to cover the spread at 29 points. Again, lay down the hammer. If you want to keep that fifth spot in the top 25, this is your opportunity to lay it on thick against Northern Illinois. And I also think that Notre Dame will score over 37 points. The odds right there is about 628. The line went from 28.5 to 27.5. So listen, after this game, I want everybody to look at the camera. We're going to say, just give me my money. Because we're going to win again this week. I'm confident in it.
Hang on, I need to write some notes down. You lost me a long time ago, but you're so good at this. I love it, and I love your parlay. So keep it going. We want to see you get your money.
He won some money last week, so guess where my money's going? Right here. Levon's parlays this week. There's no doubt about it.
I don't do refunds either, so no refunds. Money is locked in, baby.
We'll bring you back later for some more little inside bets here with each other. A hard-fought victory against a top 20 team under the lights on the road in a hostile environment. Not so hostile, just loud and raucous. The Irish got it done last week at Texas A&M, but against top-ranked teams, Notre Dame often struggles.
That's the challenge of a head coach to say, okay, what are the reasons why we haven't been able to beat a certain opponent?
Well, how are the Irish going to fix that one in my one-on-one with Coach Marcus Freeman? We talk about it. Stay with us.
Well, Levon's favorite Notre Dame player, Irish kicker Mitch Jeter, was named the Luke Rosa Award Star of the Week for his performance in that win over Texas A&M. He was a perfect 3 of 3 on field goals with 2 for 46 yards and 1 from 26 out. He also scored 2 extra points, kicked off 6 times, averaging 64 yards per kickoff with 4 touchbacks.
Hard to believe this, but it's been 287 days since the last Notre Dame home game. Look at all those fans intermixing together. There's love between the Huskies and the Irish. Not for long, guys. Have fun in that tailgate. The Irish fans came ready to tailgate, and so did the Huskies. It feels like football weather here in South Bend as 5th-ranked Notre Dame gets ready to take on Northern Illinois in the home opener. Well, Notre Dame's road win over Texas A&M isn't only the biggest win of head coach Marcus Freeman's career so far, it also gave the Irish a boost in the polls.
Absolutely. Notre Dame broke into the top 5 this week in the Associated Press poll. Leading the way, it is Georgia at number 1, Ohio State at 2, Texas, a really good team, at number 3, and Alabama is in at number 4.
Historically, the Irish have struggled beating the upper echelon teams like Georgia, Bama, and Ohio State. In fact, in the past 30 years, Notre Dame is 0-10 against those 3 teams. Now, during my one-on-one interview with head coach Marcus Freeman, I asked what he needs to do to change that narrative and win.
We can't sit here and say, okay, we have to play at another level when we play those great teams. There's a level that we have that's a standard for what we want for Notre Dame football.
While the Irish have a 5-3 overall advantage against Alabama, they haven't beaten the Tide since 1987. And Notre Dame has lost 5 straight to the Buckeyes, dating back to 1995. And the Irish are 0-3 all time against the Bulldogs. Marcus Freeman says the only way to change that is bringing in the right players and cultivating their talent.
The focus is continuing to develop this group, and that in those 12 opportunities that we have a guaranteed chance to play, we're ready to perform at the highest level possible. And if the result of that performance is victory over whatever opponent we have, then that's obviously the ultimate goal. If it's not, we got to figure out why. And if that's through talent level, through recruiting, through development, that's the challenge of a head coach to say, okay, what are the reasons why we haven't been able to beat a certain opponent, and to really attack it and try to fix it.
Recruiting and retention has changed dramatically with the NIL and transfer portal. The Irish have turned to the portal for their starting quarterback in 3 of the past 4 seasons. Freeman now has 4 options in his QB room and a commitment from highly touted 5-star prospect Deuce Knight. But some recruiting experts are predicting Knight will flip, and he was even seen wearing an Auburn towel before his first high school game this season. What is the message to young QBs that are coming here to keep that trust level for them and to keep them from jumping ship?
Our ultimate goal here in the near future is to be able to say, okay, we don't need to go into the transfer portal to get our quarterback. We believe in development. We believe in that the foundation of our roster has to be created through high school recruiting, and that's what we're going to do. You know, I still think it comes down to trust, and we have 2 quarterbacks, and now with CJ Carr here being a 3rd, that were all recruited out of high school and that are still here. That to me is a reflection of the trust they have in our program, our coaching staff, and the future they have here at Notre Dame. Any one of them could have transferred. And so that's what I'm proud of, and that's what I'm excited for our future.
Well, now, Deuce Knight has been enjoying the recruiting process, flirting with both Auburn and Ole Miss all summer. He switched out that Tigers towel for a Rebels towel last week at his first high school football game. And then the next day he was on the sidelines at the Auburn season opener. So this is a guy who says he's committed to Notre Dame, but he's very openly flirting with the competition.
Just as long as he's wearing that gold helmet next year, I don't care what towel he has on right now. And right now, Notre Dame's quarterback room is loaded. Freshman C.J. Carr certainly feels like the future of this program. And a guy like Kenny Minchie, he could be a starting QB for any number of other teams right now.
Well, yeah, and actually I did ask Minchie just directly why he chose to stay at Notre Dame instead of entering the transfer portal this season. And he told me it's really because the trust that he has in his coaches and the camaraderie, he used that word, with his teammates that made him stay. He believes in this team, he believes in his coaches, and he believes that he's going to earn his shot.
A lot of great QBs in that room. We'll see what the future holds here for Notre Dame in that position. Well, a dream come true. Some people wait their entire lives to attend a Notre Dame football game.
That has certainly been the case for one South Bend woman. She joins us next, and she's ready to tailgate. Stick around.
Come the Irish. Notre Dame fans had a chance to meet and take photos with Notre Dame quarterback Riley Leonard yesterday in Mishawaka. The Notre Dame quarterback just signed an NIL deal with Dick's Sporting Goods. Irish legend Chris Zorich, we saw him last week in Texas. He was also on hand signing autographs, and a few lucky fans won tickets to tour the Notre Dame locker room.
You know, Riley Leonard, he gave that money, his NIL money, to his offensive line.
Awesome.
He had them come there with him. He gave them the money for that. I think that just goes to show another example of why Riley is a captain in his first year here at Notre Dame. Well, right now, the 5th-ranked Notre Dame football team is getting ready to host its first home game of the season, welcoming the Huskies of Northern Illinois. It's a 3:30 kickoff inside the house at Rocky built, and ABC57 Kickoff is here to get you ready and fired up. Today's game holds extra meaning for one special Notre Dame fan. We're joined now by Helen Weeks. Helen, we love having you here. I know you are so excited. You grew up right here in South Bend. You are a huge Irish fan, and you're going to be 90 years old in just a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
But I want to know, as growing up, you went to South Bend, Washington High School. Why has it taken you so long to get to your first game here today?
Well, I grew up on a farm, and we always had chores to do and schoolwork and stuff like that. Then as I grew older, I got married. We had 3 children, and then we just worked and raising the kids. And then finally, they had all their sports, and we just traveled with their sports and done everything with them. And we just kept on going like that, but we always watched Notre Dame. We loved the Irish.
Well, this isn't your first rodeo here. You're a women's basketball season ticket holder.
Oh, yes.
Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I'd like to appreciate the way the coaches teach the girls, and we just always had, they do their plays, and it makes the game so exciting that I just love going to them. And whenever they seem to know what they're doing and everything, and then when we sit right by where they go in after come out and go in, and they greet us as we're coming in and going out and all that, and we just appreciate them, and they're just like family to us. And
Well,
they're so friendly and everything.
This is a special day for you, and I know that this was maybe a little birthday present from a friend.
Oh yes, Ella was talking one day, and Ella and I was talking, and she says, what do you think about the stadium? And I said, Ella, I'm sorry to tell you, but I've never been inside that football stadium, but I've been around Notre Dame, but never in the football stadium. So about a month later, we got talking, and she told me she bought me tickets for the first game. And it was shocking to me to thanking her for doing this for me.
Well, that is a good friend right there, and I know you love the Irish. I know you got to be picking the Irish for a win today.
Oh yes, I'm going to predict the score would probably be like 35-40 for the Irish.
40?
Yeah.
No. Who? Notre Dame 40?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Shoot.
The Notre Dame 40, and I'd say the Northern Illinois 7. Maybe I'll give them 14 2 touchdowns.
That's a great pick right there. All right, we've got to know, of course, the women's basketball championship was special to you. Would it mean more to get a women's national basketball women's championship or a football title
I
in
think
South
it's time for the football to bring home a championship.
All right.
But I'd love to see the girls do it again.
Well, how about we both? They just do both of them.
I watched the game for the 18-19 season for the girls, but this one, I hope they bring one home again for the football this year.
All right. Well, we just love having you on,
thank
Helen.
you.
Have a great day. I know you're going to go to the player walk. You're going to have some amazing experiences. We're going to follow you around a little bit today and follow up with you to see how this went.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for having me.
Can we say go Irish?
Go Irish, yes.
That's it right there. Thank you so much. And you're going to want to bring a jacket if you're headed to campus today. The home opener is the coldest in nearly 3 decades. You're taking a live look from high atop the Golden Dome. We have another check of the game day forecast, plus the Notre Dame injury report coming up next.
Meteorologist Dave Caulfield here with your kickoff forecast. You know, we're here in the tailgate lots with the Leahy Gate behind me, and you can see some blue sky off in the distance, but off to the west, not too far away, there are more clouds than anything else, and that is actually some lake effect rain showers. Not something we typically talk about in early September, but it feels like fall. There's some fall weather just to the west, and so we're looking at some rain showers, mainly staying closer to Michigan City at this point. We've been dry so far here at Notre Dame Stadium, and I expect it to remain that way. Even though rain will get close, it won't get over the goal line, so to speak. It won't impact the game as we head into later on this afternoon, with temperatures very cool for this time of year, but we should be dry. Live outside the stadium, meteorologist Dave Caulfield with ABC57 Kickoff.
All right, thanks, Dave. The Irish will be without the services of sophomore wide receiver and punt returner Jordan Faison for today's home opener. He sprained his right ankle about halfway through the second quarter at Texas A&M and did not return. Coach Marcus Freeman told us he expects Faison will be out 1 to 2 weeks. Of course, Faison was the Sun Bowl MVP. He also won a national championship with Notre Dame lacrosse.
With Faison out, Jaden Greathouse becomes the main punt returner, and KK Smith was added to the depth chart as a backup wideout. He was brought here for that speed, so we hope to see that today.
Absolutely. The Irish are expected to get the win today, but Northern Illinois has often been a problem for Power 5 teams.
They've won 7 of their last 9 games dating back to last year, and they returned 18 starters, right? 9 on offense, 9 on defense, and have been very competitive.
And it's caught. It's Grayson Barnes. No one's there. 10, 5, touchdown. Grayson Barnes with his first touchdown of the season, and it's 40-3. NIU early in the third quarter, a 60-yard touchdown catch. Hampton to Barnes.
We are joined now by the voice of Northern Illinois football, Andy Garcia. We just heard your call from last week, and you had a lot of those calls because Northern Illinois, wow, that was a lot of offense in that game. This is a team that Notre Dame has never played. Fans aren't very familiar with who the Huskies are. What can you tell us about this Huskies team?
Yeah, it's great to have you on. And yeah, NIU's been a really good mid-major power for a while, for about 20 years. And we have 6 MAC championships. We've taken on some big boys, Kentucky, and we beat Georgia Tech and Boston College last year, Alabama a couple years ago too. So we've gotten some big wins, and we're not scared to go anywhere and play. So it's an exciting place. First time I've been here, so it's exciting. I know the fans are excited to be here, and NIU fans, and I know the team is excited, but I don't think we're too worried to come here. I think we're ready to play.
Ooh,
well, the Notre Dame defense obviously is very standout, very elite. Got some good athletes there, but tell us a little bit about who they're playing, the running back specifically of NIU, very talented group.
Yeah, number 1, Ontario Brown. He starts out, he's a leading rusher coming back in the MAC last year. First team All-MAC. The guy's shifty. He can bowl people over. He's fast, so he's going to be a big part of what NIU wants to do today on the offensive side. So NIU wants to get that run game going. But they know Notre Dame's defense very good, right? But that's where NIU's got to get going. They've got to get that run game going, and Ontario Brown will be a big part of that.
But your quarterback, Ethan Hampton, boy, he had a game last week. MAC Offensive Player of the Week. Get these numbers, 18 of 20, 328 yards passing with 5 passing touchdowns. This guy can sling it.
Yeah, he's confident. We had a quarterback competition in the offseason. Ethan Hampton won it. Now, we're up in a little bit of class this week, right? We took on Western Illinois last week, but he played well. 18 of 20, only had missed 2 passes, and he had a lot of weapons. And we had weapons that made catches and runs after catch. So I think they got some weapons. And NIU's feeling confident, right? They're coming off that win. We played well to end the season, got a bowl win. And I'm feeling coming into this one, like, being able to have that type of offense play like they did last week, I feel like they think they can run the ball. We'll see what happens today.
What about the NIU defense? Who should Notre Dame fans be, who should be on their radar today as NIU comes in and tries to stop Riley Leonard?
Yeah, and you guys are talking about the young offensive line for Notre Dame. I think NIU's defensive line is really good. We're veteran. Devontae O'Malley is going to be up front. Roy Williams. Huskies are really stacked up front. So I think it's a veteran defensive line going up against a younger offensive line for Notre Dame. I think that's a matchup to watch. Our defense has been very good. We don't give up a lot of passing yards. We did really well last year with pass. It's going to be difficult today. We'll see what Leonard can do against this NIU defense, but it starts in that D-line, and that's where I think the Huskies feel like they can stop the run, get a little pressure on the quarterback.
And that's kind of something I think fans want to see is Notre Dame pass it, get some 20-yard passes or longer. Yeah. Can he open it up against this secondary, or is he going to have some trouble there?
I think it'll be NIU's got to be very physical, right? You got to man up on these receivers. Now, I heard Helen, all right? Helen wants 40 points today. I hope that doesn't happen, but I know Notre Dame wants to open it up. Yep. I hope the NIU defense can kind of stay with it, make some plays, because I think you got to negate NIU's big, or Notre Dame's big weapons, like going deep, like you talked about those receivers.
Well, NIU wants to show up today. I mean, this is a big opportunity for them and a national audience.
Yeah, we're not too far, 160 miles away. As you talked about, Husky fans, Notre Dame fans, partying a little bit together, but I think NIU's excited to be here, an opportunity to play here in front of this environment. I think we'll be excited, hopefully not too nervous when we start the game.
All right, well, enjoy your first trip here to South Bend and up in Notre Dame Stadium. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right, thanks for joining us. We take a closer look at the Irish offensive line versus the Aggies and what they still need to work on against NIU today.
We got from them exactly what we expected to get from them. Toughness, a physical attitude about playing the game that a Notre Dame offensive line plays with.
Go, and we aren't going to stop until we go to that goal line. We are Notre Dame!
Get on the bus. Next stop, Notre Dame Stadium.
From the house that Rockne built to the dynasty of Air Parsegian, this is the home of Fighting Irish football.
The place where greatness is earned 1 yard at a time. The field that forged Notre Dame legends like Theismann, Montana, and Brown.
The land of never quit, never surrender. The legacy, the passion, the tradition. That is Notre Dame football.
ABC57 Kickoff is back.
Bigger and better
than ever.
Another season of Fighting Irish football. It all starts here.
This is our house. This is our team.
And this is ABC57 Kickoff.
You're watching ABC57 Kickoff, presented by Afdent Dental, live from the campus of Notre Dame, with your hosts, Allison Hayes and Vahid Sadrazadeh.
Welcome to Notre Dame Stadium. The Irish getting ready to open their 96th season in the house that Rockne built. It's a 3:30 kickoff against Northern Illinois, their first ever meeting with the Huskies. Look at those fans. They are ready to go. Looking good, girls. Welcome to ABC 57 Kickoff. I'm Allison Hayes.
And I'm Vahid Sadrazadeh. It is absolutely any time you have Notre Dame football inside this historic stadium and this historic campus, it is a big day, but it is a huge day here. Manti Te'o is going to be joining us here in just a few minutes, and we cannot wait to talk to the Irish legend.
You can feel the energy shift when Manti walked up. One of the biggest questions surrounding Notre Dame heading into the season opener, how would the offensive line do?
Notre Dame has long been considered O-line U, but for just the third time in program history, a true freshman started in the season opener.
That's right. Anthony Knapp getting the call at left tackle. Sam Pendleton lined up at left guard. Ashton Craig at center. Billy Schroth at right guard. And Emil Wagner right tackle. The big guys up front didn't play perfectly against the Aggies. The Irish did run the ball for 198 yards last week. They allowed 0 sacks, guys, 0 sacks with that inexperience, but 4 penalties. 4 of Notre Dame's 11 penalties involved that O-line. Craig and Knapp were called for holding. Knapp and Pendleton had false starts, but Notre Dame did what they needed to do to get the win. And hey, what cannot be overlooked is both Knapp and Pendleton had key, huge blocks on those game touchdowns, including the game winner.
A lot of the things that caused us issues on Saturday night, even though the environment was hostile and all that, were self-inflicted wounds. And we've got to stay out of long yardage situations, stay ahead of the sticks. You know, some of that is decision making, some of that's play calling, some of that's play design. All those things play into it. We got to do a better job of helping them be more consistent.
I'm here for a reason. Coaches believe in me. The people next to me believe in me. Riley believes in me. Having someone like that in your corner saying they believe in you makes you just want to go run through a brick wall, you know?
Well, listen, all in all, I think the Notre Dame offensive line was really, really impressive. 2 freshmen, a sophomore on that line, to not give up any sacks at Texas A&M. Like, listen, you're going to clean up any penalties that you had here at home and the rest of the season, but to not give up any sacks, I think was one of the most impressive stats all game long.
Yeah, and let's not forget, again, the 2 touchdowns, both of those 2 newbies with never having a start under their belt had key blocks to set up that touchdown. Both times incredible for them.
Marcus in their face before the game in the tunnel, firing them up. Speaking of fired up, we are here. He's one of the greatest defensive players to ever put on a Notre Dame uniform.
If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. You understand what I'm saying?
The heart of a champion, the soul of a warrior, the one and only Manti Te'o is back on campus for today's home opener, and he joins us live on ABC57 Kickoff next.
There's no place like home, but I want to make this real clear. This is not about me. This is not about one person. This is about this whole family.
It always feels good to be home. When I stepped up on that stage, it was like, oh, it's game day.
There's gonna be a party in that stadium in a few hours. It's an all-ager rager.
That adrenaline kind of kicked up, and so, you know, I just went with it, and, you know, the crowd seemed to love it.
If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. You understand what I'm saying?
Trying to make sure that we understand the importance of family and how much power that comes with that word.
Please welcome back to Notre Dame Stadium, number 5.
I'd give everything except my wife and my kids to come back and play here. My best years were here at this school, in this stadium, in those classrooms with my teammates and my classmates.
I love you. It's great to have you back on campus, really. Love you, bro.
Always, every student, athlete, every student, anybody who ever comes to this university, let's give it everything you got. Because I promise you, if you do, Notre Dame will return the favor tenfold. I am eternally indebted to this school, to these people, and whatever this school needs me to do, I'll do.
Well, we are joined now by Notre Dame legend Manti Te'o, and who everybody really came here to see, guys, is the director of the Fitzgerald Institute for Real Estate, Mike O'Malley. Guys, thank you so much. And Manti, our viewers just watched an incredible video from when you were here back in 2022. It was emotional. It got us fired up just watching it. How nice is it for you to be back here on campus every year?
It's always good to be home. You know, it's a beautiful place to be. It's especially beautiful for me because I get to bring my wife and my children out. So it's like life comes full circle for me, and I'm low key kind of soft recruiting my kids to come here, and I'm kind of getting that Notre Dame blood in them early in their life, so it's definitely nice, but it's always good when I get to be with family and friends like with Mike and be able to do things and help on the field and off the field, and do whatever I can to push the University of Notre Dame forward.
An all-ager rager. That's what you like to say. I love it. Mike, let's talk about the Fitzgerald Institute for Real Estate here really quickly. FIRE for short.
Yep.
Why is this program becoming such a major program for Notre Dame and becoming so popular with the students right now?
Yeah, it's real estate is the world's largest asset class. The value of the real estate in the world is more than all the stocks and bonds combined. And students see that. Also, there's a lot of different roles you can do in real estate. You can build it, you can buy it, you can sell it, you can finance it, you can decorate it. And so at Notre Dame, we have students from every undergraduate college in the real estate minor from 23 different majors. And so it's open to everybody. Yeah. We've got over 518 students, and they all see the opportunity to be a part of a new institute and to launch their career in real estate, which really wasn't available to them even 7 years ago.
Yeah, Manti, how did you hear about it? Why are you so passionate about it?
Well, the realities of football not being a long career for me. I was able to play 8 years in the NFL, but the realities of it not going further was very real halfway into my career, and real estate had been something that was introduced to me throughout my life, and I wanted to learn some more. So in 2016, I jumped into real estate and kind of found my way. Met with Than Merrill and the Sajan brothers in San Diego. They took me under their wing and taught me a little bit about real estate. And then, lo and behold, I get in touch with Michael O'Malley, and he teaches me his stuff. And if you want to know anything about real estate at the biggest level, follow this guy. And so I was very fortunate to learn from him, and it was a class that I wish I had when I was here, because it'd be something that I'd definitely take advantage of. But I'm happy to know that four of those students are all linebackers. So if you want to be the brainiac, be a linebacker, go to real estate.
Oh, I love that. And you said you've got more than 500 students in this program right now. Not just Manti as a former player involved, but you've got a lot of former Notre Dame athletes in different sports that are really getting involved with the real estate as well.
Absolutely. We've got Golden Legacy Partners as a firm here. Josh Lugg, Tommy Kramer, two stalwarts on our offensive line. Cole Mabry, they've started a firm and they're investing in real estate in South Bend. But we have swimmers, we have cheerleaders, we have baseball players. We have 11 players on the current football team, including 4 starters that are minoring in real estate. And so I think athletes gravitate towards real estate because it's a chance to compete, and it's an open playing field, and they really enjoy it. So it's been neat seeing the former football players and former athletes get into the space, and then doing it in South Bend is even better.
That's an interesting take, that it's a competitive market, and that kind of scratches that competitive itch, I bet, that the athletes have. That's cool.
It's really cool.
Well, awesome. We love having you guys on. And Mike, we're going to kick you on out of here now. We're going to take a commercial break, because when we come back, Manti's going to stick around. We're going to ask him some football questions.
I think Manti Te'o, when I remember his talk to the team before the Cal game back 2 years ago, that was something special, because that was the first time he was back for a long time, and the passion he had for this university and this athletic department was so evident and strong, and I think it really had an impact on our players.
Welcome back to ABC 57 Kickoff, and we are live with Notre Dame legend Manti Te'o. Not only one of the best linebackers in Notre Dame history, but find a better linebacker in college football history, and we're happy to have him here on set with us today.
And Manti, my favorite part of introducing our legends is getting to rattle off all of their stats, so indulge me for a second. 437 total tackles, 8.5 sacks, 7 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries. Let's go. It's let's not forget, Heisman Trophy finalist too, a runner-up. I think you had some pretty good numbers here.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I wish part of that would have been 2013 national champ, but we got there. Yeah. I'm more than confident that we'll get there again soon.
Just an incredible run with the Irish. Of course, our viewers just heard Marcus Freeman telling me that you are one of his all-time favorite former players to have come back and talk to his current guys. What has that interaction been like for you when you get to talk with the team? And, some of the players kind of have mentorships with certain players. Do you have anything like that?
Well, it's beautiful because, one, I love Notre Dame. I love everything about the university. I love the football team. I really love Marcus Freeman. I love the passion, the energy, the love that he shares with the program. And I'm a firm believer that every football team is a reflection of their head coach. And if our team can continue to, grow that DNA, we're going to be just fine. But for me, it's all about being able to come back and make an impact on this school, even when I'm gone. You know, Tim Brown did that when I was gone. While I was here, Joe Montana will come back, Rocket Ishmael will come back. So that's what makes this place so special, is even though we're gone and we're removed, we're still so integrated into the program and trying to do our best to make an impact.
Well, and look at the impact you're having. Look at all these fans that came out to see you, and every time you're back on campus. Let's go back to memory lane a little bit. You had such an incredible career here. Talk about some of your favorite memories on and off the football field.
I would say, you know, being on the football field, there's nothing like running out of the tunnel for your first time, and there's nothing like running out your last. I think for me to run out that last time on my senior game against Wake Forest and to be greeted by my parents and to hear the roar of the crowd and to see all the lays, I think everybody who was there for the 2012 season, it was a magical season for Notre Dame. And so for me to experience that was definitely special. But off the field, man, the early mornings after a win, after a USC, we went 12-0. We had a design meeting at 8 a.m. the next morning, and I was in that studio doing those projects. Professor Sedlak was somebody who was very instrumental in my development as a student athlete, really pushed me, really held me accountable. And so the countless, you know, interactions with Uncle Tim, the security guard that I met my first day here, and I just saw him again yesterday. So there's a lot of different individuals that I've built connections with and relationships with that have extended far beyond the football field, and I look to continue in them, you know, as we go.
That's incredible. Let's fast forward now. You have a new gig. Congrats with the NFL Network. Tell us about your role there in transitioning from NFL linebacker to analyst.
It's pretty easy, honestly, just because from an analyst standpoint, my position afforded me the luxury of understanding the game at a level that the other positions didn't need to understand it. You know, the linebacker is looked at as the quarterback of the defense, and so I understand football in its entirety. And for me to go up on TV and go up on the screen and be able to articulate those points, but then to draw in some life lessons that for a viewer that knows nothing about football that they can relate to, I think that's where for me I kind of settle right in, and it's kind of my sweet spot and something that I'm continuing to get better at. And you know, shout out to the family at GMFB, because Jamie, Akbar, Kyle, Peter, they're amazing. Like, it's the team, you guys would know, it's the team that you work with that really makes it fun. And for me, it's such a fun gig for me, and I look forward to getting better at it.
You guys have really good chemistry on set together. It's a fun show to watch, and I loved your outfit selection for last week. Because we're in the Notre Dame hockey jersey, looking pretty good.
Yeah.
We're going to ask you to put that analyst hat on right now and kind of looking at this Notre Dame defense, just what Al Golden has done in his couple of seasons here, and how would you assess the Irish defense so far?
I think if you look at the Irish defense, you're looking at the maturity of the defense. You're looking at how seamless the transition is, how well they execute. I think earlier in Coach Al Golden's time here, they're just trying to learn the system. Now it's just second nature. You have guys in there that understand what is expected, what the expectations are, and now they can play very, very fast. You have Ben Morrison back there, you have Xavier back there. So you have guys that are in positions to really, you know, be those figures on that defense to kind of lead them in the right direction. It kind of reminds me of where we were in 2012, to have those leadership guys, but to have a coach that understands the terminology. And I think what other people don't understand is you look at how our linebackers and our defensive players are transitioning to the NFL and how they're doing so well. Coach Al Golden has a lot to do with that, with his terminology. He runs an NFL-style defense, and so for anybody that wants to come to Notre Dame, they're going to prepare you well for the NFL.
A little recruiting? No?
Just a little bit. I'm always on the clock, guys.
I love that. I love that. What about this team specifically? If you look back at the 2012 team 12 years ago, you guys made an undefeated run to the national championship. Talk about the defensive maybe similarities. The defense is stout enough to help them along to an undefeated season. Do you think you see those similarities? Do you think this team can go undefeated?
I honestly think they're better than what we were in 2012. Their ability to get to the quarterback, their ability to take the ball away. I think we've seen that already in week 1 against Texas A&M in a hostile environment, that they're able to do that at a high level. And I'm just really looking forward to, I think Xavier had 7 interceptions last year.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I had 7 myself, so I know how hard it was, you know, but for him to do what he was doing, and for him to come back, and you have Ben again, and you have all of these guys that are just key contributors on the defense, it's just going to be so nice. And not to mention the offense, Riley Leonard looks solid. And again, it all starts with Coach Marcus Freeman. He's the main reason why when I look at that team, I know that we always have a chance.
Well, before we let you go, can you give us maybe a little prediction of what you think the Irish can do today?
The Irish is going to be a lot to nothing. It's going to be the Irish is going to be a lot, and NIU is going to be nothing. That's how I think we're going to go. That's what I think we're going to be.
All right. I loved following you and covering you during your college career. I was there when you ran out of that tunnel for the last time here at Notre Dame Stadium. Goosebumps just thinking back on it. Thank you so much for being here with us today, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
And come back with us anytime. Okay?
Yes.
You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you, guys.
All right, more legends still to come here on ABC57 Kickoff. We stop by the Holtz Heroes Foundation Tailgate coming up next.
Marcus Freeman!
The Irish faithful out in full force last night for the Notre Dame pep rally, and you know that guy. Head coach Marcus Freeman and players pumped up the crowd on the South Quad, dubbed the Rock Me Rally. There were also performances by the Notre Dame Band, Cheer Squad, and Pom Squad. And don't forget the Notre Dame Leprechaun.
Well, several Notre Dame legends are on campus to cheer on the Irish in today's home opener. Tailgate traditions, let's go. We want to see our Levon Whitaker joining us now from the Holtz Heroes Foundation Tailgate. Hey, Levon.
Hey, Allison. Yeah, I'm here with former Notre Dame running back Reggie Brooks. Man, look like y'all having a good time out here, man. Tell me what's going on here at the Holtz Heroes Tailgate out here at Notre Dame.
Well, the Holtz Heroes Tailgate was something that was dreamed up by one of our former players. Again, he wanted a place for former athletes to be able to have a spot to converge on, and for them and their families to be able to come to when they come back for a game, and just kind of a point of, emphasis on, hey, what are we doing? What is Holtz Heroes all about? It's about family. It's about three things: do the best you can, show people you care, and do what's right. And you do that by showing people that the importance of giving back and sharing your good fortune with others.
Now, I've seen some star-studded guys around here. I've seen Lee Beckton. We've seen Charlie. Tell me who else we can expect that's going to be out here at the tailgate today, week one home opener. You going to have some heavy hitters out here?
Just a couple. Like I said, Brian Young is going to swing by, and Tom Carter, 2 first-round picks. Both those guys are part of that 1990 class. Was probably the best we've ever done. And we're hoping some of the kids that are, some former players that are here in school will stop by as well, because that's something we're really proud about, is having the kids of the former players be a part of this. It's not just about the former players. It's about us, our families, and again, about Notre Dame.
Now, there's a lot of fans sitting around, they're watching, they're looking. How often do you all get to interact with the wonderful Notre Dame fans that come up here, want to meet you, and just have a cool conversation with you guys here at the tailgate?
This is awesome. So we do this. We're hosting one every home game, and so we'll get, like Louisville is our Holtz Heroes Tailgate reunion, our reunion weekend. Okay. So, Coach Holtz will be here, Tim Brown, Rocket, Chris Zoris. So we'll have a lot of the big-time guys. Ricky Waters will be stopping in and being a part of this. And again, it's about that. It's about family. It's about that brotherhood, and how can we be a better service to our communities.
Now, we got the game kicking off here in about 4 hours now. So I want to know your prediction really quick on this game. A lot of people saying a lot to a little. It's a MAC conference team. Notre Dame's coming off a huge win against Texas A&M. How does this team look? What is your prediction for Northern Illinois coming into Notre Dame Stadium today?
I'll say this. My biggest thing is not a prediction. It's if we see Steve Angeli or C.J. Carr in by the start of the fourth quarter, then we're where we need to be. Because I need to see these guys step up. Offensive line in particular, that's what I'm going to be looking at mostly, to see how much they grow from that, last week when they were under the gun. They played a really good defensive line. So this week is about how quickly can we get Riley Leonard on the bench to rest, because he's taking care of business on the field.
Well, hopefully the running back group won't disappoint you. They did great last week. I'm sure they'll come out here, do a great job again behind that offensive line that you just spoke about. We got so much more for you coming up here on ABC57 Kickoff. We'll be right back.
Emotions were high.
It's almost like you go into parent mode and you want to take that pressure off of them. Put it on me.
But the Irish seized the moment. Now, Notre Dame is back home, and the heavy favorite, Coach Freeman's focus for Northern Illinois. Plus, the voices of Notre Dame football, Tony Simeone and Ryan Harris, join us live to break down today's game. And food trucks, live music, and lots of Notre Dame fans. We take you inside the first Friday night bash of the season.
Rich tradition of the Irish.
Wake up the echoes cheering her name.
Send the volley cheer on high. Shake down the thunder from the sky.
What though the odds be great or small?
Old Notre Dame will win overall.
While her loyal sons and daughters
March on to victory.
It's Tim Brown, Heisman Trophy winner, and you're watching ABC57 Kickoff.
You're watching ABC57 Kickoff, presented by Afdent Dental, live from the campus of Notre Dame, with your hosts, Allison Hayes and Vahid Sadrazadeh.
The dog days of summer are over. It's football season, home sweet home. After a huge win on the road, the Irish are back on campus getting ready to take on Northern Illinois in the home opener. It's a 3:30 kickoff inside Notre Dame Stadium. Welcome back to ABC 57 Kickoff. I'm Allison Hayes.
And I'm Vahid Sadrazadeh. The sun is shining on the dome today. Notre Dame is back. They're 1-0, the most important stat, and they're looking to go 2-0 today against an unranked NIU opponent.
I got all fired up after that Manti interview. I had to strip the coat down.
You want to run through a brick wall right now.
I'm ready to go. Now,
absolutely.
During Marcus Freeman's short tenure at Notre Dame, there's been a credo that he not only repeats to the media, but also to his team. Winning games in college football is hard. Really hard.
It is, and no matter the opponent, nor the stadium, a win is a win, and they must be celebrated and savored. In this week's Freeman's Focus, the third-year head coach is living in the moment and leading by example.
Often labeled a player's coach, and arguably the most important moment of his coaching career to date, head coach Marcus Freeman took it upon himself Saturday night to be what he naturally is.
As we came out, I'm looking at Anthony Knapp and looking at Sam Pendleton, and, it's their first time, they're freshmen, and they're playing in this big environment, and it's almost like you go into parent mode and you want to take that pressure off of them, like, put it on me.
A father figure.
Yeah, it was intentional.
If the Irish go on to make a deep playoff run, it's this moment, standing before 100,000+ screaming Aggie fans, that will be remembered.
I wanted to take a little bit of that pressure off of them. I want them to have that mentality of like, let's go, man. Like, let's go. We're competitors. And I didn't want them to have any fear.
And they did it in a 23-13 win over Texas A&M. The been-there-before mentality was on display during an 8-play, 85-yard drive that resulted in a game-winning score from sophomore Jeremiah Love.
We have to believe that our preparation is the key to us having success on Saturdays. And that's what we'll continue to rely on.
Freeman is the first to tell you, winning on an elite level in college football is hard work. We've all been witness to the growing pains he's experienced over the first couple of seasons. And just hours after preaching to his players the been-there-before mantra, his mentor and father figure was there to remind him of the same.
I had a call from my college coach, expecting to hear great job and big win, and it was, hey, I just want to remind you, he said the greatest danger is the illusion that all is well when indeed all isn't well. And that's the reminder that I needed more than anything, is that, it was a big win for our program, versus a good opponent, but we have so much work to really improve on, and that's kind of the focus now as we go into Monday.
Our perception of this players coach thus far has been a person cool, calm, and collected.
And obviously, I'm not always like that, but it wasn't just that, oh man, I'm jacked up, I'm ready to go.
But in his biggest moment, on the biggest stage, Marcus Freeman truly embraced what he's always been, a father figure.
Sometime, like as a parent or a coach, you said, all right, like I'm with you, Like, don't fear.
Who may have just found the right formula for his team and their path forward towards a playoff run.
Have as much confidence in yourself that we have in you. Let's go. We're doing this thing together.
There is no doubt, Allison, what we saw with our own eyes Saturday night in that tunnel at Texas A&M, at his press conference earlier in the week, was a different Marcus Freeman, looser, more relaxed, more intentional head coach that may have just found that recipe to the championship sauce.
And not saying this to bash anybody, but one thing that stood out to me, and we talked about it this week, was the difference when Brian Kelly led Notre Dame out of the tunnel at the Miami game a few years back, and we saw their eyes. There was no fire. There was no excitement. They looked scared. Their eyes were this big, and we looked at each other and we said, they're going to lose this game. And when we saw Marcus Freeman at Texas A&M leading that team out of the tunnel, it was like, they're going to win this game. And I think the players believed that. And a lot of that is following the suit of what your head coach gives you.
This third year is different.
It's
just different. It feels different, and he's acting different. And it's going to be a really fun season to watch.
Hopefully it's another one. Like Manti said, it reminds him a lot of 2012. We will see. Let's hope. Now, right now, thousands of fans are here on campus getting their tailgate on.
But the fun actually started last night at Notre Dame Stadium with live music and food trucks. Our Jenna Stopsinski takes us to the Friday Night Bash.
I found a true priest at Friday Night Bash. What's going on?
Go Irish.
Go Irish!
It's our very first game.
This is your first Notre Dame game ever?
This is like number one on our bucket list.
The Huskies! I also found what they say is a leprechaun.
Go Irish! Go Irish! I always call it's heaven on earth.
Love that. Heaven on earth. And I found a priest earlier, so there's a theme, I think. Are you from South Bend?
No, we're from Maryland.
You came all the way from Maryland to the game.
Yes.
Trees are good. Vibes good out here.
I want to see some hard hits.
Hard hits.
Hard hits.
Oh, look how cute Jenna and Levon are. I love it. Now, sorry, you weren't there, buddy. They were having the fun, not you.
Nope.
Now, if you missed out on the fun, don't worry. There will be another Friday Night Bash before the Louisville game. Some of the money raised from the Friday Night Bash goes to the Rockne Athletics Fund, which provides scholarships to student athletes.
The Irish silenced some critics with their win at Texas A&M, but the season is just getting started. What are some of the takeaways from the season opener? We asked the experts, the voices of Notre Dame football. Tony Simeone and Ryan Harris are jacked up, and they are here. Join us live when we come back.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go. Yeah, I was building on the lecture. Verses coming daily under pressure. Working on applying the scheme. The true style trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking one shot for the kill. The breeze cut, freeze up, straight dropping the chills. I'm talking taking over pieces and shares. A ball break sky high. Check the movement is here. Yeah. It's one shot. Now the future is yours. Go.
Well, we are joined now by the voices of Notre Dame football, the official radio crew right here, Tony Simeone and former Notre Dame standout offensive lineman, Super Bowl champion Ryan Harris. Thank you guys for joining us here. Of course, you're a favorite on the show.
Great to be here.
It's great to be here. I am not a Super Bowl champion, but I'm glad to be with one, no doubt.
Well, we have you guys individually on the show in the past before. first time together as a tandem, as a team. Give us a little background, Tony, on your kind of rise to Notre Dame football. We've heard your voice on Notre Dame hockey in previous seasons, and now this is your first time as the voice of Notre Dame football.
Yeah, it's an awesome honor, obviously, to get to call Notre Dame football games, and doing it with Ryan is a blast. He brings so much energy, and I can't believe it's actually his 7th year. I mean, he's been doing it for a while now, but as you mentioned, I've done hockey for the last 5 or 6 years, and then basketball on the radio the last 3 years. I got to fill in a couple times last year, and maybe most notably got to go to Clemson with Ryan, kind of learn the ropes. And Paul Burmeister, who had this job for a lot of years before me, got a great opportunity with NBC. So when he kind of made that move, they came to me, and it's one of those questions you don't really say no to. So the opportunity to work in this capacity this year is so cool, and I'm excited for today's first game at home.
Well, your first official game as the main voice of Notre Dame football was a pretty much a doozy. Texas A&M had to be a lot of fun. Just that experience, being in that stadium, what were some of the takeaways that you took from that Irish football team in that environment?
It was unbelievable, and Ryan kind of warned me that might be the loudest stadium we see ever.
Ever.
It was unlike anything I've ever seen. Obviously, Clemson was the closest thing to that, at least I've seen on the road. Notre Dame Stadium, of course, gets very loud, but to me the biggest takeaway was how well they played. I just thought that their ability to kind of control everything in that environment, in that moment, that fourth quarter, I mean, the 8-play, 85-yard drive, and then the way they got off the field right after that kind of told us all we needed to know about this team coming into this season. So that was the takeaway for me was, gosh, it's a great environment, but it might be a really good team this year.
Of course, Ryan, with your experience as an offensive lineman, this preseason, the conversation was all about the inexperience of Notre Dame's O-line. Just, there's definitely some room for improvement, but 0 sacks in the game. Just what was your impression of what you saw from that O-line, but where do you think they do need to improve moving forward?
O-line U is real, right? I mean, everybody was worried about, there's injuries. Well, the last time somebody got an injury, Joe Alt did pretty well, didn't he? So O-line U, we major in offensive linemen. And yes, there's improvement, and they're not going to see a defensive line more talented than what they saw at Texas A&M with the noise. So this group will only go forward. And a game like today really helps because they'll get 7, 8 run calls in a row. And it's not just about the techniques. It's about communicating with the person next to you. What does Tony sound like when we're reaching together? What does he sound like when he's going one way and I'm going the other? They'll figure that out. They'll get there. But Notre Dame has consistently and historically had the best offensive linemen in the college football landscape, and they have it again, folks.
Well, that offensive line seemed to figure it out in game, and so do the running backs, the guys they're blocking for. Kind of quiet to start the season and the preseason, that running back room. They got it going in the second half. Jeremiah Love with the game-winning touchdown from 21 yards out. What are you seeing in that running back room specifically, and who's the workhorse there as the season goes along?
I think Jeremiah Love's got a great opportunity to be an All-American. I think Jadarian Price was the kind of spark, and sometimes you need that. You need a different guy to come in there and see the lanes a little differently. I mean, I had that with Ryan Grant and Darius Walker. I mean, you put those two players in, it's a little different. Both can do damage. Notre Dame has that depth and capability, and those running backs have to get a little better in the blitz pickup. You do that, there's going to be some big plays out there today.
And Tony, let's go to the other side of the ball. Of course, elite level defense for this Irish football team. You look at some of the best players in the country right now, Ben Morrison, Xavier Watts, Howard Cross had a great game. But where do you see this defense, looking forward, where do you see maybe some also room for improvement? Do they need to get some more pressure? Do they need to have some more movement on that edge?
Well, I think that the pressure is going to come. To me, the big question mark I had going into last week was just the linebackers. They lost, of course, J.D. Bertrand, Maris Leofau. I did the spring game last year and talked to Al Golden, who's now in his 3rd year as the defensive coordinator. The most surprising remark he had is when we kind of asked him, hey, Bertrand, Leofau, good players, don't get me wrong, off to the NFL, he didn't hesitate. He was just like, we're going to be just fine. And I think you saw it last week. Jalen Sneed looked great. Jack Kaiser, of course, is the veteran, bringing them all along. Kingston Viliamu-Asa, they said they think he's the best freshman linebacker in the country. I think he looked like it, right? He played that big 4th down play. He was all over the field. So that's what I had my eye on. I think I'll watch him again today because I think that is, if there is going to be a weak spot, that could be it. And as the season goes along, freshmen, we'll see if they can keep it up. But gosh, I was so impressed with the way the linebackers played last week at A&M.
I think, too, just that depth. It's not just the starters who are at an elite level. level. We're seeing that as you move down that starting lineup and you get into the second level, you get into the third, and these guys, you can mix them in and out, and they're not missing a beat.
Yeah, I would ask you, because you've seen it for 7 years. Is this the deepest defense you've seen at Notre Dame since your time covering it?
Absolutely. And you got a 3-level defense, right? And that's the thing. You get a 3-tier defense, that's very tough to beat. You got to beat Howard Cross. You got to beat Jack Kaiser, and then you got to try and keep the ball away from, Xavier Watts, a.k.a. Dr. Watts, and, Benjamin Morrison. So those are difficult decisions now if you're the offensive coordinator. What are you going to do with the football? But then to your depth point, Allison, it's like Boubacar Traore. He had a phenomenal game, and he's been productive every time he's gotten opportunities, so hopefully we see more of him.
Very quickly, over 50 points today on offense, or no?
Ooh, that's a big. That's
I
8
hope
plus
so.
touchdowns.
Yeah, is there time? Is there going to be enough time for that?
Let me see who issues my checks. Notre Dame. Yeah, over 50.
Yeah,
over 50. I think.
Over 100.
Yeah. You see why you got the job.
Yeah. These guys are in
very
mid-season
smart.
form
Very
already.
smart.
I love it.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining
thanks
us.
for having us.
We
Thanks,
love
guys.
having you on, and it's great to get you together.
Yeah.
So have a great game today.
You as
Will
well.
do.
Thanks.
All right, the odds definitely in Notre Dame's favor against the Huskies. Our final predictions, plus you'll need a sweatshirt, but what about rain gear? A final check of the game day forecast coming up next.
We are seeing some more sun versus clouds at this point, but the wind is starting to pick up, and as we get closer to game time, that breeze could be a factor. It'll be out of the north, so it'll be blowing from touchdown Jesus to the south end zone, so that might be something to keep in mind. I know Notre Dame wants to try and get that passing game going. Maybe tough going at times with that breeze, but temperatures on the cooler side, about 20 degrees colder than opening kickoff last year for the home opener, with highs today in the low to mid 60s. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield for ABC57 Kickoff.
Okay. All right, we've had an awesome first day here back on campus. We've been enjoying our beverages from Tabor Hill and Round Barn. It's been a great day, but now we got to get serious. Of course, it is time for us to get our prop bets up to wrap up the show. We're going to start it off, Levon and Vahid, with who will be the first player to score 2 or more touchdowns in this game. I'm starting it off with Jeremiah Love. I know you got some love for him too.
That's my guy. His father actually called me the other day and said, man, he was out there killing, wasn't he? I said, yes, he was, and he's going to do it again this week against Northern Illinois.
I got the quarterback. Let's go. Number 13, Riley Leonard is going to get 2 touchdowns with the legs.
I was between the two of them, but you know what?
Yep.
Brady Quinn said he's feeling Jeremiah Love could be a Heisman candidate this year with the way he's playing, so we'll see if he can get that going today. Now, our next one, we've got the first 2 turnover. Who is going to get it, and what type is it? Levon, I'll let you start us
I'm
off.
going with 2-9, the sophomore, Christian Gray from St. Louis. The dude is a ball hawk. He's enthusiastic out there. We saw him get some big hits against Texas A&M. He coming away with a turnover tonight or today.
Well, last week I called Jordan Botello on the special teams, but now I'm calling Jordan Botello with a sack strip fumble. So that's what I'm calling. I think Jordan Botello is due for a turnover.
And he had a great game, kind of low-key great game last week.
Absolutely.
And he's somebody that the coaching staff has been big on. They expect big things from him, and this could be his year finally. And I had Benjamin Morrison. He with the interception. This dude, he talk about being due. Coming back from injury, he is one of the best in the country, preseason All-American, a captain. I think he gets an interception in this game. All right. And finally, our final score predictions. How about you, Vahid? We're going to start off with you. Notre Dame. Do you think Notre Dame's going to get the win today?
I think Notre Dame's going to get the win today. A goose egg on the defensive side, 52-0.
Woo!
I'm calling the goose egg. This is where the defense can step up, put some different pressures on the quarterback, get to the quarterback. I'm calling 52-0. They don't let any points across the board today.
The spread is only 29 points.
Listen, I'm going Levon's parlay. He told me to. Levon's parlay.
Listen, very ambitious of you. I'm going 45-13. That's a 32-point swing for Notre Dame. They cover the spread. They get their 37-plus points. That's enough to keep them in the top 5 moving forward. Notre Dame 45-13. Come out here, put a stomping on NIU, send them home, back to Illinois. with some tears coming down their eyes. That's what I got.
You know, I think we could have one of those situations early in the game where it might be 7-7 and everyone's going to be freaking out. Oh, Notre Dame's playing down to the competition, but it won't take long. They'll settle in, and then I don't think that Northern Illinois is going to make much more noise after that. I do have Notre Dame winning. I'm saying 41-10 final score. I think we're going to see more special teams today. Your boy Jeter is going to get some field goals.
Tattoo it.
We're going to see some multiple touchdowns, and I just think it's going to be a great overall game for this team and offense to kind of get those things moving. Riley Leonard's going to maybe get some passes downfield, which we wanted to see last week. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a great show.
Thank you to Round Barn for being here. Check them out online and, of course, in Baroda. Thank you to Manti Te'o. Thank you to all the experts we had. Go Irish! Cheers, guys!
Cheers.
Go Irish!
Thanks for watching ABC 57 Kickoff.